Welcome, friends, to Visiting Hours. I'm Grego, and I am here. Short stream today, I think. I meant to sit down and do this a little earlier, but I got lost in a little project. Lost in a little project. Story of my life these days. Let's get some notifications out. Man, I'm falling so far behind my intentions. I think that I've stacked life up a little too high. Just a little too high. Just can't seem to find room or time, even though I nominally should have plenty of it. Ugh. Okay. Rocking and rolling. Things are live. See if anyone comes. At this point, I did some work on trying to determine whether it made sense to me to keep doing this. That is the visiting hours, the stream. And I think that it validated an old instinct that I had, 3 months ago, when I recognized that the value of real-time communication with y'all, even if it's just one or two of you, is quite high. Is quite high. Even asynchronous. So leave me a comment if you like. But yeah, I've been trying to figure out what it means to be here. I'm trying to figure out what the quiet ascent needs to be, and I've quieted down the content cadence so I can kind of get things reset. Let me show y'all a little bit of what we've done, knowing I'll probably have to redo this whenever anyone actually drops in the channel. But I'm just gonna act as though it's just you and me, oh VOD watcher, enjoying this content today. We'll have a little meander. Hopefully that sounds of interest. So let me show what the latest is in the world of the quiet ascent. And if you run out of stuff to show, then we can do a little preparation for tomorrow. Some homework item that my good friend assigned to me for a conversation we'll be having. Before I forget, just plug in the phone to charge. All right. Okay, so here is my Substack. Hopefully y'all have seen it before. If you haven't, I have a Substack. Yay, check it out. Anyone used to hearing from me this way might be a little, I don't know, the Substack took quite an aesthetic turn in fall last year, and it's been exploring that for a little while. Here's the latest piece I published, they're all in this manner, essentially short letters, written with a what I hope is a large heart, trying to reach the common humanity we all shared, not least which within myself. And what we did was we took a letter that I wrote for the About page and published it as a letter itself. A lot of it is a little bit retreading familiar ground, but because it's from the About page, that should make sense. Now, why did I update the About page? Might be the question we ought to be asking and answering. And the reason we did that is because we're going to start trying to channel people here towards the Quiet Ascent. And so I went ahead and bought the domain, quietascent.org. When you hit it, it'll bring you here. In the future, we'll probably have like a real website that's pulling in content from YouTube and Substack. But for now we have this. And when folks land here, they'll get, I hope this letter finds you well, friend. In truth, I'm grateful it found you at all. For when the noise of life turns up, the call to stillness tends to quiet. That you're here means you're listening, and that's no small thing. Perhaps you're like me. Perhaps you listen because you've learned to. Because when you allow yourself to, some small voice does speak. That voice, that knowing that calls from beyond understanding. I don't know how it's been for you, but for me it has not always been a welcome caller at the door. Fleeing, we feel the fang of years. We turn away, we deal, we cope. We downcast our eyes as dreams asleep beneath feet that tread lightly so as not to disturb. I don't mind telling you, friend, that I've spent years in the depths. I nearly drowned. 600 pounds, video game addiction, split bedrooms, and half a marriage. I hit bottom. I heard it then. A small voice. I listened and the years lost their hold. From deep waters some strong ship bore me up. Old stories cast away and hope broke loose from the horizon. I have fled long enough. I am here for the dawn. Not to categorize, not to analyze. I write to render conscious that which would This is a line that's fun to write and hard to say. I write to render conscious that which would render me unconscious. And then we link out to the weekly letters, just here on the Substack. Weekly walks, which just goes to the YouTube, alluding to the fact that all of our content is basically visiting hours and oh look, there's Lex. Oh my god, look at me, man. Look at me. 2 years ago. Very thirsty, Lex. Very thirsty. 2 years ago, that was. Lifetime ago, might as well be. Anyway. Go to the streams and the podcast, which is just going to this. Where you can see something that should be, hopefully, becoming more. Once I get things linked up and content rolling again, another thing to do is to figure out what the next podcast looks like. But so yeah, that's what's going on. There I am on a nice sunny day. And I oscillate between being focused and invigorated and worn thin and worn out with this project. It's I've not done a good job of giving myself the experiences that tend to invigorate me. I realized that one of the things I used to really love about streaming video games is that it was like a reliable communion with something, you know? Even if people didn't show up, there was still the game, something to interact with. That admittedly got to a point where I couldn't sustain it, but Um, Gosh, my life has become so clear on paper that off paper sometimes it just feels a bit square. Clearly need someone to show up on the stream to talk to me and shock me out of this reverie that I'm in. Let's see, what else is there to share from the past week? So, we had started a project of reading Gravity's Rainbow. Let me try a little experiment here. Man, technology is just awesome. So this is my phone. You might be seeing a lot more of this camera. Oh, I missed a spot back there. Anyway, here is lovely Discord. This is my setup. Welcome. And here is a tiny little bookshelf I have sitting on top of my preamp in this beautiful little corner of this quiet little room. And you can see Gravity's Rainbow there on the far right. And you can't see it, but the first maybe 50 pages have a little bit of love in them, and then I got to a point where I decided I needed a rest from it. It became a bit much. So I'm putting Gravity's Rainbow down for a little while, and I've been instead, last couple days, starting to tuck into Best of Gene Wolfe. This is kind of cool. You know, maybe I've been thinking maybe should get a GoPro. Man, this iPhone camera is pretty great, isn't it? You can see the backyard. Anyway. So yeah, as we make content, which hypothetically we will, like, I suppose it's possible. At this point, it feels like the content has completely dried. I feel like I've lost almost all momentum on this project. The one thing that I'm doing is sitting down and writing, and I'm beginning to feel like the things that I'm saying are becoming a little repetitive. I had the insight watching this guy on YouTube yesterday. What's he go by? I bet you YouTube will make me a recommendation on his channel, because I just dared click on him once. Yeah, I don't see. Hang on. Oh, here we go. Choop'em Balls. And he's smart dude. Smart dude. He's got this channel on YouTube where he's kind of doing a version of something that I might have done, where he's combining video games with serious, grounded, philosophical reflections on life. I watched this entirety of this video he did called "The Fake Philosophy Destroying Men," and what he does is it's a response to a previous video he did. I think it's The Dangerous Lie Behind Being a Man, which I haven't watched yet. Funnily enough, watched a reaction video, but not the original. That's sort of our sign of the times, right? We consume second and third order accounts of things rather than their originals. But and he talks about how what he said in the video, apparently called "Be a Man," The Dangerous Lie, is it's a call towards vulnerability. And what he's doing is saying that the cry for men to toughen up and be a man, although that can be the right thing for many people, is also tends to harden a lot of emotionally immature men into shutting off their feelings, and that feelings are the road to completion. Feelings are the road to understanding and participation, and kind of pointing towards what I've heard called broicism, which is this pop culture co-option of stoicism, where we take the ethics of Stoics and discard the metaphysics, and in order to say, hey, just control what you can control. And I'm briskly summarizing rather than going through the content. It's a good video. You should probably watch it. But he goes through a bunch of these ideas, and he starts off by criticizing a bunch of the people who commented on his previous video. Not criticizing, let's say calling them out, and saying that what they were doing was acting tough in his comment section to say that people should not be vulnerable and that is weak. And what he shined a light on is that their need to look tough and be seen as not being weak in the comment section betrayed exactly that. So really astute, really intelligent, cool aesthetic to his content. I don't care for the gaming stuff, but his discussion, his content is pretty solid. Here's his tagline: "Therapy costs too much, so I play games instead." What he's doing is he's connecting video games and therapy. I'm sure there's a lot of overlap between his audience and Healthy Gamer. Video games saved my life. That's something I should give a listen to sometime. But you can see how much the stuff he's done has caught. Almost 250,000 views on this video, and a bunch of very successful shorts and other kinds of content. If we go to his link tree, let's see, there's something here that I saw that made me think. What was it? Maybe just that tagline that therapy costs too much. No, there was somewhere where there's written content. Maybe this is it. I don't know. I can't remember where exactly I got this account from. I've just been listening to him talk. But he has I don't know. I sort of have having a feeling about it. I think that I could sort of try to describe that feeling as, well, there's some envy there, a sense of seeing someone do something that I could have done, and having some success, whereas I'm just kind of toiling in anonymity. It's an observation that although he speaks clearly and says intelligent things, there's a part of him that's still acting out something quite juvenile, in that he's spending so much of his time playing video games and broadcasting it for children to watch, basically. Young men, I guess. And what he's doing by bridging that gap is he's offering a voice to people who need it, and that's of value. When I quit 2 years ago, I needed to do it. I really needed to quit. I had lost the love. I think there is still a love for video games rattling around in there, but it's kind of hard to imagine coming back to it. And I was reflecting on this fellow's content this morning and how much I enjoy it and how much I feel what might have been in terms of what I could have done here. Acknowledging, of course, that I'm not him. I've not had the same experiences. But what is it I'm trying to say, and who is it I'm trying to say it to? This is like the story of I spent all this time barking at the moon, writing these pieces that basically nobody reads, hoping that I'm not spilling my life out for nothing. And I'm between camps right now. I think part of the reason why what I work on is opaque is because I'm not participating in any kind of a shared medium here. I mean, this fella, Choopin' Balls, has video games and philosophy. It's like a bear on a bicycle, right? Two things that don't usually go together, appearing in the same place. I'm just a guy talking to the camera with no qualifications, no education, and no pedigree, and basically no following. And the only thing I'm clear about is that I care deeply about that quality of the lived life, the human alive, the inner fire that animates us and that cools and chills and solidifies and covers our bones when we turn ourselves off, when we numb ourselves, when we immerse ourselves in mere fantasy. That's why I can't go back to games. I just can't do it. And my opportunity might be to start talking here about the things I actually am doing that have some shared matter. That is my reading, which I'm not really taking up the banner of trying to talk about my reading. Not really. Part of it because I'm just such a slow reader, and I can't find time to do anything in this life. Here's a reading project that's been going on for a couple days. Here's one that's been going on for, it was supposed to be a couple weeks. It's been more than a month now. Over here, a bunch of projects have been going on for months. I can't finish anything because I can't spend time on anything. Because apparently, 24 hours is basically no time. And the other thing that I'm considering myself with is barbershop music, which lives on an island all by itself, and I can't seem to make it transparent to any other part of my life. You know, I thought about parking the stream for today and just going out for a walk, and that's probably what I should have done, rather than get on here and gripe. just what happens when you spend too much time in your own head. I can't figure out what parts of this are worth keeping. I clearly can't keep all of it because I can't do any of it. And the feeling I had today that's been really discouraging me. The thing I've been having today that's been really discouraging me is recognizing that when I was doing the podcast about video games, I was doing it with 20 years of deep immersion in video games and gaming culture and thousands of hours of experience in the games that I was talking about with people. And now, if I wanted to start getting into and talking about books or barbershop, I'm like over a decade behind. Why would anybody listen to me? And the answer is, well, maybe, Greg, it's because you have a unique perspective and a unique story. Fine, right? Yes, of course, everyone's story is unique. I don't think that's good enough, though. I don't think I'm good enough. I'm starting to think about turning the whole thing off. Well, let's try one more thing. Let's grab the other mic arm because it'll help me do some work here. Hey, honey. Hey. I'm okay. I'm sitting at my desk streaming to nobody at the moment. How are you? That's right. I'm streaming to an audience of one. Okay. Sounds good. About how long do you think? Okay. Sounds good. And will you be wanting to eat when you get home? How would you like to potentially go out for a walk with me once you get home? Maybe have a quick snack and then go. Let's do it. All right, I'll see you very soon, love. Love you. Bye-bye. Chris Bergen. You showed up just in time, brother. I was talking myself into a hole. Sorry about the interruption. Wife called. She's on her way home. I usually do these streams on Thursdays until she gets home. I'm going to switch. I got about 15-20 minutes till she's here. And yeah, shit, what's cooking? Chris, man, I'm not sure I'm not sure. I think I feel like I'm losing the thread of whatever it is that brought me back to YouTube and all this stuff at the start of the year. I feel like I'm starting to lose the thread. I'm gonna change mic stands, so I'm gonna have to be quiet for a second. Chew on that or not. Okay, we on? I think we're good. No interruption, brother. That's my person. Well said. Life or just YouTube, Brett? Yes. Yes. Yeah, man. It's been 3 months now since I lost my job. I keep thinking that I've got the next thing lined up, and then it goes a different direction. I just had another one of those happen to me today. Company I was 4 rounds deep with in interviews got back to me and said that there's been a business decision and the role that I was interviewing for no longer exists. Meantime, I'm trying to do some justice to this place. Stream every week, try to make some videos, try to keep up a consistent pulse of writing on the Substack, and try to do more, like try to get another podcast going. And I just can't find time. Meanwhile, my other hobby, which is barbershop music, takes up a lot of time, but I can never spend enough time with it to actually get better and move the needle forward. And I'm at a time where I have more time than I think this is the most time I've had on my hands since, well, since the last time I was unemployed, which would have been about 3 years ago. But the more time I have, the less I seem to be able to get out of it, or at least that's the sense. And I have a feeling that I should just stop everything except for one thing and do that. But I know I'd be miserable. So I'm just sort of stuck, and I stumbled across this guy's channel. I was talking about this just before you hopped on the stream, talking to the air or the VOD watchers, assuming they exist. And this guy, and he made this amazing video called The Fake Philosophy Destroying Men, and he brings in a lot of the same things I'm interested in thinking about and talking about. Says it very clearly, very well. He's got this platform that he's built where his tagline is "Therapy costs too much, so I play games instead," which I would just be horrified to accept a tagline like that. Personally, the idea that essentially an aspiration for video games should be therapy. But then again, that's also an acknowledgement that many people use it that way, so there's utility there. I don't know. But this guy is very successful. He's doing really well. And I'm just sitting here toiling away for maybe a handful of people on a good day. And that would be fine, except I also feel so much frustration about not being able to get anything out, because there's just not enough time in the day. I can't find it. I'm up at 6, I'm in bed at 9. What happens between those times? I have no idea. I'm doing stuff. Every single hour, I'm spending it on something that I should be supporting. But I just never seem to get as far as I need to actually arrive. Sounds like you've got a ton on your plate. Having time is great, but with anxiety, can definitely work against you. Take a second to breathe and think about where you were a year or two ago. Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago, I was wishing for the life that I have today, which is being on a path, having a sense of clarity, having community, having family, having met my person who's just 15 minutes away, and we're going to go for a walk in this beautiful weather. So what do I have to complain about, really? It's that I don't have a sense of my direction. I don't have a sense of the thing that is within me to express getting any closer to where I sit. It's like a spiritual constipation. I'm having a moment in time, a blip. Gonna be fine, dude. You have no doubt. You know, sometimes it doesn't feel that way, but you are gonna make it through. Thanks, man. It sounds silly, but it helps to hear that. Helps to hear that. The little you heard of the call. Oh, I thought I had the mic muted for the call. Well, crap. Maybe I didn't do that right. That as an anchor in your life, she sounds like she's great. I mean, she's a miracle, Chris. She's a miracle. She loves me, and she knows me like no one else in my life ever has. She knows what's good for me, but she's also patient with me and helps me see things on my terms and my timelines when I need to. And but I just want life to be more, man. I just want more. I don't know why, but I do. Why? Trying to find something. I think you just drop everything and focus on the one thing. Sometimes that's exactly what you need to do. If you're in a place to do it, then do it. There's no better time for me to do it than now. Really. If I were going to do something like that. Maybe the move would just be to drop all of this for a couple months. I don't know, though. There's something about this creative work that really keeps my candle lit. It's hard to know, because there's some non-negotiables, like what's going to happen when my wife comes home and we go out for a walk. That's non-negotiable. That's a foundational pillar of life. There's looking for the next paycheck. That's non-negotiable and a non-trivial occupation of my time. And then there are all the attached but ultimately optionals that come behind that. My music, although I have social obligations, there are people who are relying on me, so that would be the hardest thing to peel off. There's this work, the content, showing up in some kind of public way where I have the least accountability. But it's also the place where I think that what I'm doing could have the most long-term growth, and so it feels painful not to water it. And there's my own study, my own work I'm doing to bring more of the world inside of me, you know, this kind of stuff. And it feels so good to put myself into these works and worlds and words the same way I used to do in the video games. These have become my new video games, basically. And I think the thing that I'm not doing yet that I owe it to myself to do is to start making my public presence revolve more around this. Because I think right now, there's not enough shared reaction mass between what I'm bringing and what people already have. Shared humanity is wonderful and good, but the reason people choose to engage is because they feel a sense of connection and kinship to what's being presented. And I'm a lot more likely to click on some unknown creator's little watched video if he's talking about a book that interests me and maybe relating that to a big idea, versus if he's just talking about a big idea in a vacuum, which is, I guess, what I've been doing. There are priorities, but as long as that and your core are taken care of, you should decide what it's you really want to do with your time. In fact, let me share something with you that a legend once shared with me. I would love to hear. Love to hear a legendary sharing. Do I hear a sweet pea? Just a sec, you gotta find it. Yeah, no worries. No worries. I think this will be the last thing before we call this a stream and send out this rumination into the permanent record that is YouTube. Golly, I carry so much cynicism with me right now. I owe myself so much more optimism. You can go find it out there. Mickey Aspire. What changed that made you want to focus more on growth, as you said, instead of just making content? Growth? I mean, I guess it depends on whether you mean personal growth or audience growth. If you mean audience growth, then I only mean it as a proxy for actually finding connection in the work that I'm doing. If you mean personal growth, then I had to change my whole life to stop being miserable. I had to. And I feel like I have not become lighthearted about it yet. And so I'm sort of acting that out here, perhaps. Watches from 1249. Oh, Chris, I think the stream might be pruning out the URL. You're in Discord, right? Maybe you can send it to me there. I'd be happy to give it a watch. Yeah, just making content. Because really, I was making video game revolving content a couple years ago. And then once video games stopped being a focus of my life, I didn't know what to do. And then I decided to come back without video games, and it's sort of been an open question ever since. Mickey, audience growth primarily. I think my content is very niche. Might be a hard thing to grow. Right. Right. And I guess what I'm asking myself is yeah, I don't mind occupying a niche, but there's differences in scale. Like right now on a stream, like maybe I'll get 2 or 3 people to come and we'll have a conversation. That's lovely. 50 or more people would be a cacophony. But there's some kind of mass of audience that creates a sense of community and shared purpose and connection. And I think that's what I'm yearning for. I don't know what the size of that audience is. I know that there were times when we were doing the Deeg podcast and playing PlanetSide and Guild Wars, there were times that I felt we dipped into that sense of community. It's in general. All right, grabbing it. PlanetSide 2, Osher Shores. Oh man. All right. Oh my goodness. Look at that guy. Holy crap. All right. Here we are. So that should be basically visible. 1249. Return to Kantha. Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons launch day. Oh my god, this is the last Guild Wars 2 expansion that I played. You know, I was doing this while I was getting ready to make my move. Really important move, actually. Let's play it.
Chris, your question. If I had one message for this crazy world, what would it be? I guess if I had one thing to say.
God, look at that guy. Sometimes it's hard to remember what it was like to be him. Let's listen. Let's listen.
Say to the world would be the thing I say to myself, which would be something along the lines of, it's hard enough to orient your own actions and words. It's hard enough to choose your own actions and words and orient them towards a beneficial future. So leave other people's actions and words to the other people. Don't worry about what other people are doing.
There it is.
And do your best to concern yourself every single day with the thing that's most important and salient to you.
Oh, shit.
Don't worry so much about what everyone else thinks. And what everyone else does. That's it.
Missing about 100 unique parts and what's left us. Other ships in the fleet are just as bad.
Oh.
Captain! I was dead.
So as always, I hope you enjoyed your stay. Much love and stay busy. Sub to me and or Big Daddy D. Peace.
This clipping from the paper shows us young and strong and clean. And there's me in me slouch hat with me SLR and greens. God help me. I was only 19.
Yeah. All right. That's maybe just what I needed to hear, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you for the reminder. I'm gonna write that down. Focus on what I can do. Let other people do their thing. Just try to do a little every day. That guy was a legend and still is. Thanks, brother. Thanks, Chris Bergen. Thanks, Yogs. Thank you, man. Okay, I think I hear my wife rattling around, so that means it's time for me to say goodnight to y'all. I really thought hard about not turning the stream on tonight, but I'm glad I did. Thank you for dropping by, Chris, and Mickey too. Yeah, tomorrow's a new day. Peace out, my friends, and God bless. And I'll see you next week.